Hello, guys and gals. We'll be reading. Well, I acquired a few books today. This one, Giant Poems, and also Limericks, Rhymes, and Riddles. We'll probably be reading this book at a different time. This is kind of a cute book. I think every single joke and riddle in here is illustrated, which is kind of cool. This looks like it's going to be fun to read. So, anyways, but we'll read that at a different time. We'll put that one to the side. What we will read is this book is really kind of neat. It's a compilation of poems, and I haven't forgotten about Wings of Silver or the Fables of Leonardo da Vinci. I have both of those books over here. And I think that we can probably read through this entire book in one go, in one session. So, and then I will probably read a little more in both the Fables of Leonardo da Vinci and Wings of Silver, and post those at a different date. Anyways, this is a nice little book called Giant Poems, edited by Daisy Wallace, illustrated by Margot Tomes. That's kind of a neat name. Tomes is in books. This was in the, I think the library it hadn't been checked out for a while, so, and I really like the art style here. It's really kind of over-exaggerated and really, really nice. I like it. Okay. And then this is all the poems. There's only 32 pages, which isn't bad considering that some of these poems are not very long at all. Like right here. I like that horse. That's cool. Okay, this is a poem by Anonymous. Anonymous has all kinds of poems, that's for sure. And this picture right here is the same as the very back, if you'll notice. Anyways, this poem is called Fee Fi Fo Fum. Okay. Here we go. Fee Fi Fo Fum, I smell the blood of an Englishman. Be he alive or be he dead, I'll grind his bones to make my bread. And that is from Jack and the Beanstalk, to be exact. So maybe that isn't anonymous after all. I'd have to see who wrote Jack and the Beanstalk and then cross-reference, but I think I figured out that one. Anyways. Oh, I wonder what they're cooking. Looks like a cat. Oh, boy. I don't know what that is. Some of these pictures are a little bit grim. Won't lie. And, oh, well, there's a little dog down there, too. That's cute. Anyways, this one is called Grim. It is by Walter de la Mare. It says, beside the blaze of 40 fires, giant Grim doth sit, roasting a thick-wooled mountain sheep. Okay, well, there's the answer. It is a mountain sheep. Up on an iron spit. Above him wheels the winter sky. Beneath him fathoms deep lies hidden in the valley mists of a village fast asleep. Save for one restive hungry dog that snuffling towards the height smells Grim's broiled supper meat and spies his watchfire twinkling bright. So that is a woolly mountain sheep. You would think that he would skin it first, but I wouldn't really think I'd like to smell burning wool. But that's not me, and that is really a pretty good poem. I like that, and I like the art too. That's one of the reasons I like this book is because the art is rather amazing. This is the next one. Oh, there we have a giant. He has a club. And a kid. Okay. Excuse me. Okay. Oh, we're going to just look at the giant for a little bit while I read this. This is called In the Orchard by James Stephens. Sorry. Anyways. There was a giant by the orchard wall, peeping about on this side and on that, and feeling in the trees. He was as tall as the big apple tree and twice as fat. His beard poked out, all bristly black, and there were leaves and gorse and heather in his hair. He held a blackthorn club in his right hand, blackthorn club, and plunged the other into every tree, searching for something you could stand beside him and not reach up to his knee. So big he was, I trembled lest he should come trampling round-eyed down to where I stood. I tried to get away, but as I slid under a bush, he saw me, and he bent down deep at me and said, "Where is she hid?" I pointed over there, and off he went. But while he searched, I turned and simply flew round by the lilac bush back to you. That was the In the Orchard by James Stephens. I was pronounced it Stevens, probably different, but anyways. Okay, this is the next one, called Blunderbore. Okay. The giant blunderbore, about to dine on pork, called in a blunderborian roar, "Bring me a knife and fork." And in four servants ran, trotting for dear life, at each end of the fork one man and 2 men to the knife. "Goodness," one captive cried, "this giant's awfully big, but I'd be still more terrified to meet a giant's pig." By Roy Fuller. Blunderbore. That is a really neat one too. Now this one is called, I like that horse by the way, A Giant Named Stanley by Michael Patrick Hearn. I ain't one to complain, don't get me wrong. Something's been bugging me for far too long. My mother's an angel, my father's a saint, and in all of these years I've but one complaint. I love my mother, my father I prize, but why did they give a kid of my size the gentle name of Stanley? In the fabled days of yore, our tribe was famed for blood and gore. Cormoran and Blunderbore, Blunderbeard and Thunder Roar, Gog Magog asunder tore, but not a single Stanley. I'd have taken Blunderbore, Shuttlecock, or Battledore. Close your mouth or shut the door. Anything but Stanley. Oh, anything but Stanley. That's by Michael Patrick Hearn. We are to page 14 now. I believe. Yeah, 14. Okay. Shrieks at midnight. Ooh, wow. Okay. I do like ogres. There's something about them so utterly ruthless and yet absurd. I don't believe in them, yet I shiver the very instant I hear the word fee-fi-fo-fum by Dorothy Brown Thompson. I might be related to them. I know there's some Thompsons in my family. Anyway, Bellowed the Ogre. This one is by Lillian Moore, and I have read this one. I like this one. Excuse me. Bellowed the ogre with one fiery eye. Ho, the mightiest monster am I. Roared Dinosaur Rex. I'm not easy to vex, but I'll swat that braggart when he goes by. Whispered the wizard up on my gizzard. I'll make ogre a bullfrog and Rex a lizard. By Lillian Moore. That one was fast. I like that one. And that one had a really nice flow to it. We are to page 16 now. This is a rather long one called Me and My Giant, and I'm wondering if this is several pages. Yes, it is. And this one is actually by Shel Silverstein, so this is actually a popular one. Or famous, probably. Shel Silverstein is basically known by everyone, I think. I grew up with his books. So, this one is called Me and My Giant, and it's by Shel Silverstein. I have a friend who is a giant, and he lives where the tall weeds grow. He's high as a mountain and wide as a barn, and I only come up to his toe. You know, I only come up to his toe. When daylight grows dim, I talk with him, way down in the marshy sands, and his ear is too far away to hear, but still he understands. He stands, I know he understands. For we have a code called the Scratch Tap Code, and here is what we do. I scratch his toe. 1 means hello, and twice means how are you? 3 means does it look like rain? 4 times means don't cry. 5 times means I'll scratch you a joke. And 6 means goodbye, goodbye. 6 times means goodbye. And he answers me by tapping his toe. Once means hello, friend. 2 taps means it's very nice to feel your scratch again. Here we go. 3 taps. 3 taps means it's lonely here with my head in the top of the sky. 4 taps means today an eagle smiled as she flew by. 5 taps means oops, I just bumped my head against the moon. 6 means and 7 means bye. And 8 means come back soon, soon, soon. 8 means come back soon. And then I scratch 1,000 times, and he taps with a bappity bim, and he laughs so hard he shakes the sky. That means I'm tickling him. By Shel Silverstein. This is an anonymous poem by called Giant's Wife, rather. It says, the terrible giant had a wife who was almost 12 feet tall. She slept with her head in the kitchen and her feet way out in the hall. And that was by Anonymous. Sounds about right. Okay, let me see. 19. Is this page 20? Oh, 20. Yeah, okay. Just making sure. I don't want this. We're almost done, I think. I think this is only 32 pages, and these are really short, usually. Okay, well, there's lots of butchered animals here. That's kind of interesting. I'm not sure what animal that is. I think that's a pig. I'm not sure. Giant's Delight is what this is called by Stephen Kroll. There, just making sure that I have enough saliva to keep talking. Vats of soup on table trays, side of shark with mayonnaise, haunch of ox with piles of mice, mounds of gristle served on ice, bone of mammoth, head of boar, whales and serpents by the score, tons of coleslaw, stacks of rabbits. Giants have such picky habits. Then at last there comes a stew full of buffalo and ewe. That's EWE as in female sheep. Followed by some chocolate cake big enough for stomach aches. And that was by Stephen Kroll. Now we're ready for The Greedy Giant. There once was a giant so far from complaint, he wouldn't eat toast with his tea. A substance so horrid brings pains in my forehead and aches to my... Oh, wait. Who's this by? Sorry. I'm going to read this one again. Because usually I read the title, then who it's by. Sorry about that. This is The Greedy Giant by Laura E. Richards. Okay, now, here we go. Sorry about that interruption. There once was a giant so far from complaint, he wouldn't eat toast with his tea. A substance so horrid brings pains in my forehead and aches to my toe-toes. He said, and aches to my toe-toes, said he. They brought him a tartlet to cheer up his heartlet. They brought him both jelly and jam, but still, while he gobbled, he sighed and he sobbed. You don't know how hungry I am. You don't know how hungry I am. They brought him a cruller to make him feel fuller. I think it's pronounced crawler, basically. And that's a big donut, by the way. They brought him a crawler to make him feel fuller. They brought him some pancakes beside. They brought him a muffin on which he was stuffing. When all of a sudden he died. He died when all of a sudden he died. And that was The Greedy Giant by Laura E. Richards. That was actually kind of clever. We don't have very far to go now. These are giant chants from Jack the Giant Killer. And then we're going to read these also, but this is also from the history of Jack and the Giants. So I think these are basically from similar books by the same author, but I'm not sure. This is giant chants. Whoever shall this trumpet blow shall soon the giant overthrow and break the black enchantment straight, so all shall be in happy state. Okay, that was quick. Okay, here we go. Do what you can to get away, or you'll become the giant's prey. He's gonna fetch his brother, who will likely kill and torture you. Away, pray, who, you. Okay. Though here you lodge with me this night, you shall not see the morning light. My club will dash your brains out quite. That is a very heavy thought. Okay. We are on page 23, page 24. There we go. And this is a poem called Hickenthrift and Hickenloop by X.J. Kennedy. Cool. I don't know very many people with the name X, except for my persona, Xerxes. But I'm sure there's other, and Xander. I don't really know very many people with the name X. Anyways, it says here, okay, Hickenthrift and Hickenloop stood 14 mountains high. They'd wade the wind, they'd have to stoop to let the full moon by. Their favorite sport, played on a court, was called Kick Down the Castle. They'd stamp their boots, those vast galoots, till King lay low as vassal. One day, while spooning hot rock soup from a volcano crater, said Hickenthrift, "Hey, Hickenloop, who of us is greater?" Across the other's jagged brow, dark thunder seemed to drift, and Hickenloop, with one swift swoop, ate straight through Hickenthrift. Okay, I guess the moral there is to not be vain, I guess. Then Hickenthrift would still be alive, I guess. Okay, wait, 25, make sure this, okay, it's 26, okay. This one is called Momotaro. It's a Japanese nursery rhyme translated by Rose Fileman. Okay, I do like the Japanese art style here. And those look like kokobos, kind of, except they're peacocks. Anyways, it says, where did Momotaro go? With a hoity-toity-tidy, he went to lay the giants low, the wicked ones and mighty. What did Momotaro take? His monkey, dog, and pheasant, some dumplings, and an almond cake, which made the journey pleasant. How did Momotaro fare? Upon the fearful meeting, he seized the giants by the hair and gave them all a beating. What did Momotaro bring? Oh, more than you could measure, a silver coat, a golden ring, and a wagon load of treasure. What did Momotaro do? He sat himself astride it, the monkey pushed, the pheasant drew, and the little dog ran beside it. That was Momotaro by... It's a Japanese nursery rhyme translated by Rose Fileman. We are at the 19-minute mark, and we are almost done. Very close, actually. This is page 27. So page 28. Good. Huffer and Chuffer. Okay, this one is really... I have read this one already. This one looked really interesting. This is called Huffer and Chuffer by Jack Prelutsky, and it's rather creative. It says, Huffer, a giant ungainly and gruff, encountered a giant called Cuffer. Said Cuffer to Huffer, I'm rough and I'm tough. Said Huffer to Cuffer, I'm tougher. They shouted such insults as boob and buffoon, and overblown blowhard and blimp. and blustering blubber and bloated balloon and shatterbrain shorty and shrimp. Then Huffer and Cuffer exchanged mighty blows. They basted and battered and belted and chopped to the neck, and they bopped in the nose, and they pounded and pummeled and pelted. They pinched and they punched and they smacked and they whacked and they rocked and they socked and they smashed and they rapped and they slapped and they throttled and they thwacked and they thumped and they bumped and they bashed. They cudgeled each other on top of the head with swipes of the awfulest sort. And now they are no longer giants. Instead, they are both exceedingly short. That is by Jack Prelutsky, and the title was Huffer and Cuffer. I think this is the last page. Nope, there's one more page after this. So let's finish this one off. This is Like a Giant in a Towel by Dennis Lee. It says, when the wind is blowing hard like a giant in the yard, I'm glad my bed is warm. I'm glad my bed is warm. When the rain begins to rain like a giant with a pain, I'm glad my bed is warm. I'm glad my bed is warm. When the snowstorm starts to bowl, When the snowstorm starts to howl like a giant in a towel, I'm glad my bed is warm. I'm glad my bed is warm. And when the giants realize that no one's scared of their disguise, they go to bed and close their eyes. They're glad their beds are warm. They're glad their beds are warm. And that is by Dennis Lee. That is a rather clever poem. And this is the last one. It is by Nancy Willard. It is called Magic Story for Falling Asleep. And this is actually a very charming one. When the last giant came out of his cave, and his bones turned into the mountain, and his clothes turned into the flowers, nothing was left but his tooth, which my dad took home in his truck, which my granddad carved into a bed, which my mom tucks me into at night. And then when I dream of the last giant, when I fall asleep on the mountain. And that is Magic Story for Falling Asleep by Nancy Willard. And that will conclude our reading of Giant Poems, edited by Daisy Wallace and illustrated by Margot Tomes. I hope everybody enjoyed that. That was a really, really fun book to read. I've been trying to read more books, especially since everyone is quarantined now. And just doing my part to ease all the hardships that are going on. If you like this content, then make sure that you like and that you subscribe, and ring the bell so you can know when I upload stuff. I have all kinds of content on my channel, so there's surely something for everyone's taste. But yeah, I appreciate all the support. All the information that you need to know will be in the description. And that's going to do it for this video. Thanks for watching, everybody, and have a great day.